Good morning, welcome to my YouTube channel. It is 7:30 in the morning and I'm going to give you a quick garden update. It is October 5th and many things are in bloom. I'm actually going to pull quite a few things out as I replant. So I wanted to give everybody a quick update before I start sadly cutting back the zinnias so I can see what I actually have for perennials everywhere. So this is the bottom part of this long bed, and if you can see at the front I have an olive tree, 2 lots of oregano, a rosemary, hizomas, and a lavender plant. Then last year I brought over some pink echinacea. I have my newly transferred from April plumbago. There is a Joe Pyeweed that was transplanted at some point in the autumn and it's not really done very well this winter. I think I need to give it a bit more care. There's a simple salvia, and then we have a Veronica here, and there's a big Russian sage here, and a plant from South Africa here that grows very clump-like, and usually every autumn I divide it up and throw away half of it, but it gives a lovely orange flower and it is very handy for now while I'm still trying to fill out these this big border. So here I have a sedum that I've cut back and it's growing back. It really didn't enjoy this place, whether it's because of the occasional torrential rain we had in August, or whether it's because it's too hot, or the soil is just too clay-like. But I'm going to move it to further up the border a bit later on. I have a lot of zinnia. Most of them came from self-seeded from last year, which is what I wanted, and I left them. But I'm sadly gonna have to pull up quite a few as I've got plants to plant and nowhere to put them because the zinnia are in the way. So this section here, probably not going to change too much this year. I really like a lot of how it's turned out. I'm going to move that sedum, the sedum at the bottom here. And there are 3 aster here which are about to burst into flower. They're not quite there yet, but they will be soon. And I didn't realize how big aster gets, so I'm gonna have to divide these up. I've cut them back a couple of times over the summer, so I'll probably move 2 of these plants to somewhere else and just keep 1 plant. Okay, and then of course I have some verbascum at the back. These are all doing so much better than last year because I moved a lot around. Salvia's just waiting for it to come back again. I've cut it back a bit. There's more. Sorry, there's a lot of cars on the morning run. More verbascum there. Okay. These also came back from self-seeded. And actually, I lied because I'm going to move this buddleia because when it should have looked beautiful, it actually looked terrible. I think it might have been when we had the 41 centimeters of rain in 24 hours. It really did not enjoy where it was. Maybe it's just not the right place. I'm going to move it a bit further up where it's on the slope so the water drains off quicker. That's my plan. And this gaura is going to stay exactly where it is. And I think this side generally is going to be okay. And moving into the 3rd section, you can see where I left my spade. This section there. I've got a peony that I've just cut back there. And more echinacea, more salvia. I just planted three more echinacea here. So these ones are called marmalade, and they give a soft orange color. So I'm really looking forward to those. The purple plant behind it is, I will put the name on the screen, but it is not hardy below 5 degrees, so it will no longer be here next year, I think. And then the ones that I planted mid-summer, like in August, like August 20, when the temperature's up to 35, are doing really, really well, and they're starting to flower again for autumn, so that's good. They're so pretty. The flowers are gorgeous on these. They're quite hard to see with the dark leaf, so I'm hoping that they'll survive the winter. That's the biggest test, if they'll survive the winter. I have another Russian sage just here. When I first made this bed, I planted I think 5 Russian sage, which was a really stupid idea. So 2 have gone, and I'm keeping 3. They get a bit scraggly. I think next summer I'm going to cut them back a bit, because they always bring up lots of new growth in the autumn. So I'm going to see how that works. And so coming up to the top bit. Okay, last winter I planted Aspidia here, and I'm thinking I'm going to bring it forward a bit. It has blossomed so many times. It's bloomed maybe 5 times. It just keeps reblooming. It's doing so well, but you can't see it back there. So I think I'm going to bring it forward a bit. And I have a hydrangea here, which came, it was just a teeny tiny stick when it arrived, so it's doing much better now. So I'm have big hopes that that's going to get really big and give some height and structure to this area. The zinnia have taken over this area totally, so I'm going to cut back some of that just so I can see what area I have for planting in. And this top area here, this is going to be the one that I'm most working on this autumn. I'm going to totally change it up. I'm going to replace this Russian sage here. I'm going to take this Russian sage down to my new bed and put it nearer to the front where the soil is quite rubbly, and let it see if it works better there. And then I've got a more compact one that I'm going to plant more towards the front, I think. It only grows to about 50 centimeters, so that hopefully will give me more space. And the problem with this part is that mole lives at the back, or is berries, and so there's often, in the midsummer, there's often holes, and because this Russian sage is so big, I often can't see the mole holes, and I lost a couple of plants this year. I'm going to move this Gaura to more towards the middle, and this area here I'm going to plant up with new plants, a lot of new plants. A lot of these are self-seeded zinnia, and this one, I think it's called something Hyakunichiso, like 100 days blooming seed. And this echinacea is just doing marvelously. It's so pretty. I cut it all back, so quite early on. So I think next year I'm going to try and cut all my echinacea back and give them a break in August, and see if I can get them all to reflower again in the autumn, earlier than they normally do. Yes, so, and I have another Joe Pye weed here. That also got moved last year, so I'm going to just leave that and cut it back and see if it will look a bit better next summer. There are a few things hiding in this bed down here, So I really need to cut back some of these zinnia, and I need to put out my Halloween decorations. So I'll come back later and show you with all the Halloween decorations up. So that's this bed. So if you have a look, so this is the bed that is 3 years old now. So I don't think that is too bad for 3 years worth of planting and experimenting. The soil is very, very different to anywhere else in the garden so far, because it's basically clay. This was a field before we built our houses. We built our house, so it's I think it was like quite red, deep, dark clay. So it's good for plants, but I'm finding it hard to work out what works and what doesn't. So things like kingyoso that work anywhere in my garden just don't work at all down here. They've died every single time I put them in. So it's just a learning curve, basically. But after 3 years, I have quite a good idea, and the beds are all filling out, and I'm really hopeful that next year everything's going to look a lot better. So this is where it ends here. So that's my big new bed by the car park. It's usually how I explain it. I'll just walk back down again.